so it's a bit like stigmata, but in So think of that when you smell this one. This is the apotheosis pièce de la résistance of the Douro Valley. What they are famous for, their most famous export, which is vintage port.
It is, but not Poças.
But Poças are more famous for their colheitas and tawny ports.
Yes, so just so you know, colheita is basically tawny port, but from one vintage.
year,
for those of you that aren't aware of what a tawny port is in comparison to a ruby port, or which vintage port is one. Tawny ports spend longer time in barrel, whereas ruby ports spend a shorter time in barrel and then do some bottle maturation as well. So ruby ports are more brambly, big red berries, whereas tawny ports tend to be a bit more nutty, dried fruits, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'll put a link to someone who has a very good page on that, and you can learn by reading.
Indeed.
Anyway, so yes, a great year.
Wonderful year, yes. Not as amazing as perhaps '94, but
much more approachable.
More approachable earlier on,
Yeah.
which is the virtue of this wine.
Yeah, and I think you were making a point earlier about the fact that this style of this producer, and there are others like them, are more approachable.
Yes, much more approachable
in a youth,
because they're thinking about ageability because it's a vintage port, but they also want people to be drinking it much younger. Because the unfortunate thing with a lot of other houses is that you basically can't touch them for about 20 years.
At least.
And we're able to touch this at 20 years, but like they're not pleasant to drink.
Yeah, I mean, for example, you take someone, like a bigger name, for my taste, and I like older ports.
Me too.
I wouldn't touch one for at least 40 years. Whereas this at 20 is really pleasant on the nose.
Yeah,
really pleasant.
So this is just hot cross bun, currants.
It really is hot cross bun.
It's just hot cross bun, a bit of woody bark, and that's what more approachable ports are like. For example, Delaforce, which is a more approachable style. Their 2000 vintage, for example, is complete hot cross bun.
Yeah.
Buttery currants and raisins.
But what this has got is a fantastic
this is a bit more
brambly.
Yeah,
it's got that freshly picked bramble juice on your hands after you've just got blackberries.
Yeah,
it's
self-harmed on the bush.
A bit of blood as well.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a bit like stigmata, but in So think of that when you smell this wine.
Right, okay.
We love a religious reference. I mean, this is like the wine that is like our favorite wine, basically. It's what keeps me alive. It's just wonderful.
And as you say, hot cross bun, so that cinnamon, that nutmeg, that plummy, that currants and
but mellowed and elegant as well.
Not spitting that. The thing that I noticed immediately on that is how well integrated those tannins are.
Like, where are they? But
they're just there, but
there's a bit of a
wow.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Chug, chug, chug.
That's supremely balanced. The tannin, the fruit, the alcohol, the savoury elements are all really harmonious.
You do not feel the alcohol at all.
No.
Apart from the slightly warming.
You notice it, but it's not leaping out at you in any way.
And a lot of ports, as they get older, the brandy starts to leap out at you because that's what they use to fortify it. And this is possibly at a kind of mellow stage where a lot of the bigger houses where the brandy would start to pop out, but it's definitely not.
I've had some bigger producers over the past year from this vintage, and they're too young. I mean, all you're getting from them is a load of. I mean, don't get me wrong, they will be outstanding later on, but at the moment they're big power tannin, alcohol, and the fruit isn't balanced off by them. The harder elements that are in all wine, the alcohol, the tannin, are too noticeable, whereas this, everything just balancing in. For me, and this is just my opinion, that probably needs another 5 to 10 years for my taste.
Right.
Okay, but that's just because I like older ports.
I agree. I've had enough hot cross buns. No, but I love it when it becomes sort of, for example, I had a 77 pour fairly recently, and that was like shortbread and strawberry. It will get even mellower sweeter in a more kind of wispy, pretty way. Yeah, that'll just get prettier as it ages.
It's also got on the end. It's got this really nice sort of positive medicinal element. Just on the finish, it's just
an apothecary port.
Yes. It's just got this really lovely medicinal note on the end, almost like a.
That's quite common though.
You might not know this reference. I mean, very few people will know this reference. But in Yorkshire, you get these little cough lozenges, which is just brown, and God knows what they taste of. But they're just delicious, and that's what this is reminding me from. This is taking me straight back into childhood.
They're called Tut lozenge.
They're called Tut lozenge.
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of strepsil there.
And I think that's delicious. I really like that. And even though for me it needs a bit more time, that's so drinkable.
And it's gorgeous. Like,
it's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Really, really beautiful.
Vintage port, the same quality and same love, but without the weight.
And the wonderful thing about this is he's paying for this one because he lost a bet to me. Anyway.
Oh, well.
Don't worry. I'm going to surprise him in a minute because what he doesn't know is I'm about to open up a Coyeta. So see you in the next video.
Hello everyone. Remember to like and subscribe to all of our social media pages here at St Andrews Wine Company, including Instagram, Facebook, and of course YouTube, for more content from the Wine Trades Answer to French and Saunders. Enjoy!